Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is J12 here, and I'm going to be welcoming y'all to our first video ever. This isn't an introduction, this isn't a premiere, we're getting started right here, right now. Welcome back everybody. As you can see, I've stepped back a dimension into 2D. For this special occasion, and from now on, I'll be following a new formula and making the channel that I've always wanted and that the fans have always deserved. So for now, let's do in our first episode something a little classic in the YouTube realm, a top 10 list. So without further ado, let's get into my top 10 favorite video games of all time. So, to start off, let's go over the rules for this list. First off, this will be totally opinionated, because it's my list. Some of your faves may not be here, but you all knew that. Second, there will be no multiple entries from the same franchise. Lastly, these are best of all time in my mind, so the years between entries may be vast in some instances, since I am 3 decades old and a dinosaur. Anyway, let's get started! Number 10. Fortnite. Okay, so there isn't gonna be a whole page on this one, because it's fairly simple. Even though I'm pretty sure I did write a whole page. I like Fortnite. Yes, I know, what a monster am I. But as cringe as it is to say, I would even stretch to say that I love it. Although probably not how you think. Fortnite, while seen nowadays as a free game for over-aggressive Gen Zers...
1v1 you puss!
Whoa! We're PG-13 now. Calm down. But seriously, Fortnite was an awesome concept from the get-go, and with both Save the World mode and Battle Royale, the latter being the more popular version by far, but both being great experiences, it was a sure thing after only weeks of being released, it was made to print money. Now that would be enough if this were IGN, but this is my list, and as for me, personally, if not for all the good memories with friends playing the beta, it flosses its way into my number 10 spot for bringing me and my kids together in the world of gaming. For that, Fortnite, no matter how universally panned by real gamers, will always be on my top 10 for that. If nothing more or nothing less. Number 9. Battlefield 4. So as much as I would like to act like I've played the story mode, or have ever tried for that matter. Okay, wait! But I can't, because to be completely honest, I originally got the game for online play with Shotgun or Guitar Runner and Pluck. But instead of just getting a fun game to play with the guys, I got an online game that for me changed how me and my friends reconnect when separated by miles. So for that, Battlefield, and specifically number 4, has landed its kill shot at number 9 on my list. Number 8. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, what can I say? This was one of my first ever favorite games, period. It came out when I was only 5 years old, but it would take another 2 years for me to actually get my hand on that sweet, sweet cartridge. Now over in Europe, they called your system the Mega Drive. Over here, in my country, the USA, they called it the Genesis. And the Sega Genesis was one of my very first game consoles ever. So of course, The one game that I was allowed to play, since Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were off the table due to violence, was Sonic the Hedgehog. And I can tell you right now, there's nothing that got me more revved up than racing that little blue hedgehog across every level and meeting that same satisfying sound at the very end. Oh man, that hits the sweet spot. And for that, Sonic blows through the competition to land number 8 in this list. Number 7. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. So, since this game has been released and re-released about 28 dozen times, I don't think that I have to explain too much about why this game is on my top 10 list and one of my favorite games of all time. But I'll try. So, if I really had to explain why Skyrim, specifically out of the Elder Scrolls series, is one of my favorite games ever, you're gonna laugh. It was my first Elder Scrolls I ever played. Yeah, that's right guys, I started with the 5th one. But you have to see it from my perspective. All the other games before, I didn't have the consoles to play the games. But once I got that first PlayStation 3 and my copy of Skyrim, I literally got so immersed in the world that I collected every book and read up on every single little piece of history that Skyrim had to offer on Tamriel. For this amazing adventure, combined with the powers of the Dovahkiin taking on Alduin, the evil dragon that has been sent back, spoilers, to take you on. I mean, it has been released like 7 times. If you're spoiled now, you need to play the game. Anyway, this one goes on number 7 because it was literally my life for 3 years, and I could never, ever get out of that world, even if I tried. Dovahkiin. Number 6. Fallout 4. So, of course, I've played multiple Fallouts, starting with 3, all the way up to 76 now. But if I had to choose a favorite, it would have to be Fallout 4. As far as games go, Fallout 4 is pretty much everything. It's got guns, it's got monsters, it's got mutants, it's got robots. There's nothing that you can't find in this game. With so many different DLCs like Far Harbor and Nuka World, there's just so much to do and so much world to get immersed in. Even if you do get bothered all the time by what settlement might need your help.
How about the settlement problem? Another settlement needs our help. I'll mark it on your map.
Get outta here. So, even with those annoyances, and even with drug addicts trying to follow you, maybe you falling in love with said drug addicts, it's part of this world that just makes it so interesting. There's nothing about Fallout that I could actually complain about, and definitely not about Fallout 4. It's for all of these reasons that Fallout, specifically Fallout 4, is on my top 10 list at number 6. Number 5. Grand Theft Auto Online. Yeah, I know. A lot of you were expecting me to say San Andreas.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
And don't get me wrong. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is one of the best games ever made in the entire Grand Theft Auto series. But here's the thing. Grand Theft Auto Online takes it just that much further. Every great thing that we had in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has been upgraded and made better in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5, the base game for Grand Theft Auto Online, is a very good game in itself. An amazing story, amazing gameplay, and definitely crazy endings. There are 3, by the way. But Grand Theft Auto Online makes it to where you, yourself, your character, is finally the character in the game. Stealing, smoking, and doing whatever else your crazy mind wants to do in this all-out free-for-all of a game. Since we're now PG-13, we don't do much of the nasty stuff anymore on this channel, so we're gonna keep it at that. Just robbing and smoking. You know, the usual stuff people talk about when they can't go into the darker stuff. Anyway, with so much gameplay like racing, heists, and other things that you can do in GTA Online like tennis, golf, and other games you can play with your friends, including an all-out casino where you can play blackjack and slots, there's just nothing about GTA Online that doesn't scream a good time. And it is for that it makes it to this list, preemptively might I add. And now we move on to the top 4. Number 4, Tetris. That's right, guys. We're moving back to the original Game Boy. And I have to say, as many games as I've played in my life, you'd think that somehow Tetris would have got lost in the mix. But that's absolutely not what happened. My life has been consumed by these little blocks that in the game are called Tetramos. I've been stacking these blocks since I was 6 years old, and I can tell you guys right now, it has not slowed down. As a matter of fact, I cannot stop playing Tetris. I literally have it on my cell phone, and I play it constantly. I play the Game Boy edition, I play the app edition that's on my phone. There's also a PlayStation 4 edition. Now, which one am I adding to this list? Literally just Tetris. That's right, the OG original Game Boy Tetris. There are so many memories I have of riding with either my grandmother or my mother and being in the back of the car trying my dangest to get some light from those street lamps as we're driving by, because as we all know, the original Game Boy had no backlight. But I'll tell you this, there was no sweeter feeling than lining up those blocks and seeing an entire row go away as the words Tetris flash in front of your face. That is true achievement in every sense of the word. And for that, Tetris gets the coveted number 4 spot in my top 4 favorite video games of all time. Now, we're moving into the big 3, guys. Let's do this! Number 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. That's right, guys. With all the Dragon Ball Z games, and, you know, with this being obviously a sort of Dragon Ball themed channel, I couldn't leave out one of the best series games ever put on a PlayStation 2, or vice versa, PlayStation 3 when it was re-released and remastered, or Xbox, or whatever you got it on. This game right here is the quintessential best Dragon Ball Z game ever. Now I know that there's Xenoverse, Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and a bunch of different things that you could be playing with the words Dragon Ball in front of it. But in my humble opinion, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 Story Mode and Versus Mode, along with Tournament Mode and multiple other what-if modes that you could play, just gives you so much content that there is no way to get bored with Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. I can't even go into how much I love this game because I'm not sure that I can explain it. I love Dragon Ball Z, obviously, and I can't get over how perfect this game is. The character selections, the music, listen to some of this and tell me, and yes, I understand some of it was plagiarized, and you can hear my air quotes, as some of the music that's been called plagiaristic doesn't seem to be plagiarizing anything to me. Anyway, I digress. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, to me, is the quintessential best Dragon Ball Z game that has ever been released. I'm sure other fans in the fandom will disagree, but hey, that's what opinions are for. And mine is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Number 2. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, of course, I'm not in the minority here. It's pretty much the majority rule that when you're talking about the greatest Legend of Zelda that's ever been created, you're pretty much having to be talking about Ocarina of Time. Maybe there might be some groups that think Majora's Mask, maybe. But when it comes to the usual Legend of Zelda fandom, Ocarina of Time is just the tops. If not just for pure nostalgic love of this game, I can't see anything wrong with it. There might be glitches here and there, but hey, it was the N64, there are glitches everywhere. And hey, some glitches can actually help you move forward in the game, which can be amazing or just disorientating at times. But hey, there's so much love and care put into this game, and so much to do, with such a great story, with great acting, as far as the screaming goes. My ears still bleed even as an adult. There's nothing I could possibly say that anybody hasn't already said before, so I'll just say this. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was my childhood. There were literally hours spent, hell, probably days spent behind the controller of an N64 trying my darndest to feel out every dungeon and find every collectible possible. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, while great in comparison to all the other games, pales in comparison to the ultimate Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remastered on the 3DS. I hate to say it, but I really did enjoy the 3DS version more. The only reason that I'm giving the Ocarina of Time original for N64 the spot of number 2 instead of the 3DS remake is the fact that I can play the N64 one on a TV still, whereas the 3DS version still hasn't gotten a remaster re-release on the Switch. So, as much as I love Breath of the Wild, and as much as I love Twilight Princess, and as much as I really love Ocarina of Time Remastered on the 3DS, I have to say that Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64 has got to be my favorite Legend of Zelda of all time. Number 1. Pokemon Red and Blue. Okay, so obviously, I was born in 1990, so of course, I'm a Gen 1er. When it comes to Pokemon fans, I won't have to explain what that means. But, for people who aren't in the know, a Gen 1er means that I literally started from the very first game released in North America. Now of course, I wasn't born in Japan, so I didn't play Pokemon Green. That only came out in Japan exclusively. But over in the States, the Pokemon Special Edition Blue version in Japan came out as our standard version with the other copy, Pokemon Red. Now, why am I adding both Pokemon Red and Blue when I said that I'd only be adding one per series? Let's be honest. Pokemon has had so many games, so many remakes, and so many remasters that I could literally put any amount of games on this list, including Fire Red and Leaf Green, the remakes of Red and Green from Japan that were made on the Game Boy Advance. But the reason I'm allowing myself to include Pokemon Red and Blue is because put together, they are probably, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, the best Pokemon game ever. Now, I've played everything, so I have the right to say that in my personal opinion, Pokemon Red and Blue are just the definitive way to play Pokemon. This is the way it started, this is the way it was, and this is the way it was made to be, and what made all other great things in Pokemon possible. Without Red and Blue, there just wouldn't be Pokemon today. There wouldn't be Pokemon Go, there wouldn't be Pokemon movies, and there wouldn't be Pokemon merchandise literally everywhere. But I digress. Pokemon Red and Blue literally was one of the best memories from my childhood. I first got Pokemon Blue version on my 8th birthday with a green Game Boy Color that I still have to this day, and my blue cartridge that I have never lost. Now, as for my version of Pokemon Red, well, let's just say you shouldn't leave your Game Boy cartridges in your pants pockets, 'cause your mom will wash them. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, Pokemon Red and Blue, with the capabilities to trade and all the other fun things you can do in the game, along with the amazing story and just how different it can be for each playthrough, there's just nothing I can't say that would make this game any better than it already is. I could say everything, and then I could also sit here and say nothing, and you would still know how great this game is. Because most people have played either Red and Blue or have played Fire Red and Leaf Green, and you still get that experience of training the original 151 Pokemon and trade the Pokemon that you couldn't get in the other subsequent game with your friends. That, on top of the great story, great animation, and great character designs, are what made Pokemon Red and Blue literally my favorite game of all time. And considering I've played every Pokemon game that's come out since, I would say that it did its job in making me a die-hard, lifelong Pokemon fan for the rest of my natural-born life. Well, that's our list. Did we miss any that you guys like? Let me know in the comments. If you have a different list, go ahead, list all 10 in the comments. I'll read, reply, and let you know what I think about your list. Please remember to like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to check back in every Friday for another Top 10. This has been J12 Enhanced, and I will see you guys later, fam.